Hey, let's talk movies. And we got Van Connor on the way in just a second. Van Connor. Do we have a theme tune for Van? We got this, okay? Yeah. Right. It's not Des O'Connor, it's Van Connor. Welcome to the show, Van.
Hello, James. How you doing?
Very good. Good to talk to you again. Happy New Year to you. How you doing? All right?
I'm all good, sir. And a Happy New Year to you, too. It's been a while.
Yeah, it has been a while, hasn't it? Okay, well, it's lovely to get you on that, and we can talk movies because, of course, 2020 was the year. The only interesting thing that happened in movies was Tom Cruise losing his temper.
Well, I mean, that's one way of looking at it. I mean, there was another movie that was touted as saving cinema that didn't, and then its owners decided to basically kill the concept of cinema instead as a result. But other than that, it's been a very interesting year. But all those movies that we didn't get in 2020 have been shoved into 2021. So after April, we're going to have one of the busiest film years, well, probably the busiest film year ever.
Oh, really? So that's good. So what are we expecting this year to look forward to?
Okay, I'll take you through the stuff that's coming before April 1st, primarily first, which is there's a reboot of Wrong Turn, which is a pretty interesting horror series, has its fans. Judas and the Black Messiah, starring Daniel Kaluuya from Get Out. That is going to get mentioned a lot in relation to the Oscars. Pay attention to that one. Tom and Jerry's going to be a movie as of February the 26th. There's a trailer out there now.
Is that a cartoon?
Animation. It's live action with CG animation, but the CG has been made to look like hand-drawn animation. It looks incredible. Whether or not it lives up to the quality of its animation remains to be seen. But you know what? It's got my money. I'm easy. I'm an easy mark for a Tom and Jerry movie.
Yeah. Do you remember Tom and Jerry when you were a kid, or are you too young for that?
Oh, no, I remember Tom and Jerry when I was a kid. But, I was a kid back when you could have, characters smoking cigars in child cartoons. So, I'm not that young. But so the same day Tom and Jerry's out, we've got The United States versus Billie Holiday, which looks like it could be another potential buzzy awards contender. But one that I'm really looking forward to, March 5th, we're getting the long-awaited, and this has been decades in the making, sequel to Coming to America, starring Eddie Murphy. Brilliantly entitled Coming Number 2. America. We've then got,
not number two's coming to America. That's not it. Number two's coming to America could have been funnier.
Exactly. Well, we've got The King's Man, which is the Kingsman prequel, opening on March the 12th as well. We've got a prequel to The Sopranos, would you believe? A film prequel to The Sopranos is opening on March the 12th. That's called The Many Saints of Newark. March 19th, we've got the latest attempt, a sort of follow-up after Venom, to make a spin-off series from Spider-Man. Morbius is out, starring Jared Leto. And the same day, and this is going to intrigue the hell out of everyone once they realize what this is, because there's no trailer, I don't think, yet. There's a film called The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, starring Nicolas Cage as a fictionalized version of himself, who is drawn into an espionage adventure involving a South American dictator when he is hired to make a personal appearance at a birthday party. It sounds bonkers, and it's not even the only Nicolas Cage movie this year. If you include streaming shows, Nicolas Cage has 5 projects being released this year, and the first one opens in 4 days' time on Netflix. It's called The History of Swear Words. But another of his that I'm looking forward to, and this was meant to be out in October, and it got delayed for obvious reasons, is a movie called Willy's Wonderland, starring Nicolas Cage as the janitor in a sort of Chuck E. Cheese type establishment, where the animatronic kids characters come to life and start murdering people. I can't wait. Willy's Wonderland. It sounds bonkers. I can't wait.
Yeah. Bet that was named in America, wasn't it? Did they understand in America what that means?
I have a friend who's a huge Nicolas Cage fan named Chris Wilson, and we do refer to him as Willy. So when they announced that there was a movie out called Willy's Wonderland, we had to give him some grief for that one.
See, you're excited about that. Now, of course, we've heard about James Bond, and that was made about 14 years ago, it seems to me, and still hasn't come out. So is it going to come out this year or not?
It will come out this year. Well, I think we've got a lot of investment now in restoring film releases to normal from the start of April, basically because the vaccine is rolling out now. So we're kind of hedging our bets now that we're going to have some sense of normality 3 to 4 months from now. That's the idea. So After April 1st, No Time to Die is in fact the first heavy hitter out the gate. That is April the 2nd. The only other film coming out that day of even vaguely similar pedigree in terms of, the budget and scale, etc., is, of all things, Peter Rabbit 2, which was meant to be out last Easter, I think. I was set to go to a screening of it the week after we went into lockdown. So, there's that. Bob's Burgers is getting a movie. Mortal Kombat's movie reboot is coming. A Quiet Place 2. That was meant to be out back in March. That's coming out in April, finally. Black Widow. Godzilla vs. Kong is coming out in May. Free Guy. There's a reboot of the Saw series called Spiral. F9, The Fast Saga, which is the new Fast and Furious movie, which, rumor has it, will finally take them to space, which is what that series has always needed. Some realism. Cruella.
Cruella.
Cruella's coming on May the 28th. We're getting another Conjuring movie called The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It. Ghostbusters Afterlife is finally coming. I think it's this June. It's going to be out on June 11th. The Venom sequel. Top Gun 2, Maverick, finally coming out after a year's delay. Minions: The Rise of Gru. We've got three or four Marvel movies this year. We've got Black Widow, The Eternals, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, and Spider-Man 3, which doesn't have a title yet. Candyman's got a reboot. Death on the Nile, sort of follow-up to Murder on the Orient Express with Kenneth Branagh a couple of years ago, which I think was showing on BBC One on Christmas Day as well.
All right, yeah. So with all those coming out, and so one of the things we're quite excited about here in the studio today, of course, is the new James Bond film. But have you got this is coming through on the wires this afternoon about Daniel Craig, because James Bond has been delayed for so long. The next role that Daniel Craig is rumoured to be playing, because it's such a long time since he recorded James Bond, the next one, he's going to be the new star of Last the Summer Wine, apparently. Right, so...
Brilliant. That is absolutely brilliant.
So the question is, with all these films, is anyone going to go to the cinema or not? Because we've got quite used to sitting at home and just eating crisps.
Well, do you know what? I feel exactly the same. I mean, there's a huge argument that's opened up specifically this last month because of the Warner Brothers announcement. Warner Brothers announced, obviously, that for 2021, every film that they are releasing will also be made available the same day it's in cinemas, will be available on HBO Max, which in the US is their Netflix, effectively. It's the Warner Brothers Netflix. But it also has movies, TV shows, everything that comes under the Warner umbrella. So we're talking about things like Game of Thrones, Last Week Tonight with John Oliver, but also huge movies. So you're going to be able to see Godzilla versus Kong on their streaming platform. Now, in the UK, even though they started this with Wonder Woman 1984 on Christmas Day this past year, in the UK, obviously, we don't have HBO Max. They've had to pursue other options. They tried doing this with Sky Cinema, and it didn't work out. So what they're doing is, I think it's January 13th, Wonder Woman 1984 is going to be made available on all video-on-demand platforms. So Amazon, Apple, Google, things like that. You can just buy and rent Wonder Woman 1984 to watch at home, completely legally, in shiny 4K, on your massive monolithic home television as of January 13th. And that's the argument. If you've got one of these massive monolithic TVs, which kind of are all the rage now, most of us have at the very least a sort of 40-inch TV on average. Now. Yeah. Some of us have up to 85 inches if you're a Costco shopper, for example. I mean, my mum, for instance, will have like a 42-inch TV, and I'll go 65. But most of us have huge, crystal clear, LED quality 4K HDR TVs, and cinemas struggle to match that quality generally, just on a technical level, but on an actual experiential level of people misbehaving in cinemas, overpriced drinks and things like that, sticky floors, the general discomfort of people misbehaving, taking their phones out, lack of ushers, things like that. It does open up a whole can of worms as regards where is the inherent motivation to go back to cinemas. And the only reason people would go to cinemas under normal circumstances was because you couldn't see that film any other way. And if Warner Brothers are going to actually divert their content into a secondary stream that's in your home, that's going to ask some serious questions of the movie-going public, I think.
There you go. You're on one, aren't you there, Van? That's for sure. Well, it's lovely to hear, and lovely we've got some movies coming on, even if we end up not watching them at home and not going to the cinema, like it seems to be at the moment. Van, lovely to talk to you again. You have a good new year, won't you? And keep in touch. I know you're on with Adam all the time here at Radio Oxford. So have a good new year, and we'll speak again soon. Thank you very much. Van Connor, official movie guy for us here at BBC Radio Oxford.